Hey YouTube, this video should be pretty interesting, as you guys might be able to tell by the large amount of stuff lying around here. I do have quite a bit to mention actually. I went to the recycling center yesterday, picked up a few more PCs, so that's one thing for me to mention in my video, as well as kind of what's going on in my current situation, and when I've got some stuff lying out, what I'm doing with all that. So, to start things off, I guess we'll start with the basic, what I got part of the video. So yes, I went to the recycling center yesterday for the last time in what will be probably, let me see, 4 months, because I'm going to college in 4 days. I picked up a few PCs, like this Dell E521, custom built PC over here with a pretty cool case. I've actually received one of these cases before. Dimension 3000, nothing super interesting there, as well as a Dell Dimension 8400. Now to start off, I guess I'll go over the best first. This E521 had a 1.9 GHz Athlon 64X2 dual core in it. I upgraded that to an Athlon 64X2, let me see, 2.6 GHz. These are all my Athlon 64X2s. I think three of them are, one or two of them is 1.9 GHz and one or two of them are 2 GHz or something. But I put my best one, my 2.6, in this. I had a couple gigs of DDR2 667 MHz dual channel memory. I wanted to upgrade that to like at least 2.5 or 3, but all I had was a 512 mega 667, so I put a 512 mega in, so it's all running in single channel, even though the two top chips are identical. It's still running in single channel because I added that 512 meg chip on there. I put a 320 gig SATA hard drive in here. It's pretty big considering the specs, but I had it lying around, and I had another 80 gigabyte, but there was a 10,000 RPM that originally came out of this guy here, this Precision 690, so I decided to put that, because it was smaller, I decided to put that in the 8400, so general specs is a 2.6 GHz AMD dual core, 2.5 gigs of 667 MHz DDR2 memory, a 320 gig SATA hard drive. I'm going to put a Wi-Fi card in it. And the power supply this thing was actually broken because someone decided to cut the cable right here to the original power supply, but that wasn't too hard, to replace. I just happened to have another power supply of the exact same model, so I popped one in there and it works fine. But it's only 305 watts, so I'm kind of wary about running all this hardware, including a Wi-Fi card at 305 watt. But I think it should work. This custom PC, I looked in it and it had a really interesting heatsink, and I'll show it to you right now. It's not over there. God damn, this place is a mess. This thing, I've had one of these things before, or at least it's something similar. So I looked at that and was like, wow, that thing must have like a Core 2 quad or something. Yeah, this is the other one I've got before, it's similar. I was like, wow, must have like a pretty good CPU in it. It was actually so big, the heatsink that is, I was blocking the first memory slot, and this memory chip was actually in the second slot. I looked closer at it and saw that the video card's AGP, and those slots kind of look like DDR, but it ends up has a 2.8 GHz Pentium dual core and a 1.2 gig chip of DDR2 533 MHz. This AGP video card's like a GeForce 7600 GS or something, which is 512 megabytes. I don't think I've ever seen an AGP card with that much video memory. I had no hard drive. Originally I had a SATA, but I put a 320 gig IDE in it because I don't have any spare SATAs, and this IDE is a pretty fast drive for an IDE, so I put that in there, and it seems to be running pretty solid. And installed Vista on it. I'm gonna put Service Pack 2 on it, of course, because XP's a little bit old and the security sucks. I've been over this before in my other videos, and I don't have any spare keys to Windows 7 I'm willing to put on this. So yeah, but I put Vista on it one time and it ran check disk automatically, and it found all those errors. I spent 20 minutes like fixing all these disk errors, and then I was trying to install updates, and the updates were failing, and I was stuck in a loop where it would tell me the updates failed and try to reinstall them, and then it would fail again and reinstall them. So something was really screwed up. So I just reinstalled the operating system, ran check disk, everything seems fine. I think it might have just been like a bad installation, but I'm going to run some hardware testing to make sure the hard drive's not bad, the memory's not bad, whatever else. But the power supply fan was making a little bit of noise when I started it up once, so I'm going to replace that. Normally it would be kind of an issue, but this motherboard only takes 20 pin power, believe it or not, so I have plenty of those power supplies lying around. Because if it took 24 pin, I would not have enough of those lying around. Okay, so those are two of the computers I got. This 3000 didn't have a hard drive in it. Has 512 megs of DDR memory, like probably a 2.4 gigahertz Pentium 4. I haven't tested it out, but I assume this thing works. These things are almost never broken. It's a 3000. And it's not really worth anything. I might give it to somebody I know. But you know, the profit margins are so small on these things. There's so many of them on eBay, and the prices are so low that I would only make 10, 15, 20 bucks off selling it after, you know, doing all the work to set it up, and it's barely even worth it for me. So I don't know. I might scrap it. I might give it away. I really don't know. But this 8400 is pretty good as well. Let's see. So pop it open slowly. It's got 3 gigahertz Pentium 4 hyper-threading socket T, 4 RAM slots, 2 of which are populated with two 256 meg chips of DDR2 400 megahertz, so it has 512 megs total. That's a, let me see, I think it's a Radeon X300, like 128 meg video card. Had no hard drive, of course, and no DVD or CD drives, but I put that 10K RPM 80 gig drive in it from my Precision 690, because, you know, it is 10,000 RPM, but it's only 8 gigabytes, so I popped it in there. It seems to work pretty fine. I'm probably going to upgrade the CPU to like a 3.2 if I got a spare one of those lying around. And this is another Dimension 8400 I was working on a while ago that is having some erratic issues, so I decided to just kind of stop working on it. I don't know what's wrong with it. The main board might be dead. That's a possible diagnosis. So I actually had some spare memory lying in this, because I looked around, I couldn't find any more memory to add to this thing. But I remember to look in this thing, and it has 2 512 chips of DDR2 400. So this thing might have a gig and a half. I might put a gig and a half of DDR2 400 in it. And it's running XP, because you know, Vista's might be a bit too demanding. I don't have any spare keys. It has an XP Home key, so I decided to put XP Home on it. I loaded all my drivers, and it's running pretty solid, I guess, no problem so far. So might be able to sell this thing for between 50 and 75 bucks. That'd be nice. So yeah, that's that. Let's see, I also got some other stuff. This stuff down here. There was a bin, or a cardboard box rather, and just pull this stuff out of it. Actually, no. Some of the stuff is from computers my brother convinced me to scrap, because before I went to the recycling center yesterday, he said, like, look here, and you and I are going to college really soon, like, we don't need all the crap sitting around here. So he convinced me to scrap a bunch of the computers I had lying around, a handful of them, 3 or 4. Like a 2300 I had lying under there, a 2350 that used to be my grandmother's, a whole bunch of other, you know, desktops that I had previously set up a year or two ago, but that aren't really worth anything. And you know, some of these cards are from them. But like, I think that sound kind of pulled out of something. But this is actually a PCI, like, laptop Wi-Fi adapter. Kind of interesting, but I think I'm gonna scrap it. Sound Blaster Audigy 2 ZS sound card. I've sold these things and made a few bucks off them before, but I don't know. This is like a, I don't know, a 10 gig or something. Capacity. Oh, it's from 1998. Yeah, it's not gonna be worth anything. Power supply. That is a very odd shape, and I probably don't need. That's a power supply from the E521 that was cut. And a few other hard drives. 241 gigs that are 7200 RPM. They're actually from 2001, so they're pretty old, but not half bad, I guess. So that's one of them. That's another one. This is a 120 gig. Probably like 54, maybe 7200 RPM, 2004. I still have to wipe all these, so I'll do that at some point once I actually have some free space to pop my gateway up and, you know, plug those drives into it instead of the D-band. So that's pretty much it for what I got yesterday. Now all my stuff is up because I'm going to college in 4 days, and I need to move all my business stuff to college at one point or another. Not all of it, obviously. All of it would be kind of outrageous, but at least some of it, so I can have some computers to work on. I certainly need my tools. I'm bringing this toolbox with me. But the original plan was for me to go up to my college this weekend, actually like yesterday, and move some of my business and some of my dorm stuff in, and then on this Thursday, 4 days away from now, go up and move the rest of the stuff in. But my business professor said, yeah, it's kind of too complicated, not really worth it. He recommended that I wait a few weeks of actually being in college to move my business stuff up. So the current plan actually is just move my dorm stuff up to college in a few days, and then bring my business stuff not with me, but I'm going to actually have to package up all my business stuff and have my dad bring it up to me a few weeks later, because it's a 3.5 hour car ride. So yeah, but my dad's willing to do it, which is pretty nice. I'm thankful for that. So all my stuff is out because I'm trying to kind of decide what I need and what I don't, and I'm eventually going to package everything up and put it in a box, or tons of boxes probably, and set it aside for him to bring up to me sometime in mid-September. Most of my memory, I don't need my DDR2 66 megahertz, but like my DDR2 and DDR3 and some of that stuff. I'm gonna bring those socket T CPUs. Those are mostly dual cores, and maybe some of my single cores. Leave most of my socket 478s though. Take a few desktops with me. Take my good old gateway for wiping hard drives, stuff like that. Definitely take my Precision 690 to use as a server. So yeah, that's why stuff is all strewn out all over the place, because I'm trying to decide, okay, what do I need, what do I not, but it seems kind of overwhelming, because I need to package all this stuff up in a way where I can just tell my dad to bring it to me in a few weeks, so that's kind of weird. Actually, more like a month, so it's going to be kind of a challenge to actually not forget anything. And all this scrap will be out of here, hopefully, kind of soon. I go to college on the 21st, 4 days away from now. But I got a scrap buyer stopping by on September 4th. And obviously I'm not going to be home, so I'm going to have to take all my scrap. I might bring it to my dad's office in East Granby and leave it there, and have him do the transaction. He said to be willing to do that, which is nice, so it helps me out a little bit. But that means I have to package up all my scrap and stuff and get it ready for him to sell like 3 weeks after I leave, or 2 weeks actually. I'm about out of recording space, so I think what I'll do is I'll talk in a little bit more detail about my Precision 690 and whatever else I forgot in a sec. Okay, so here's a closer look at my Precision 690. As you may be able to notice, before I had a Quadro FX like 3450 card in this, but I put my GeForce 9800 GTX Plus in it from my 2009 PC that I'm not using anymore. Testing. It's a 512 meg 256-bit video card from like 2008. And I did upgrade the CPU. My heatsink hasn't arrived yet, because this thing originally had one heatsink in it, and I bought 2 CPUs for like $41, 42 bucks total, which is like 21 bucks a piece. I also bought a heatsink for $28, kind of expensive for a piece of metal, but the heatsink hasn't arrived yet, so I only have one heatsink, so I can obviously only put one CPU in. The other one's right here, but yep, I have a 2.66 gigahertz Xeon quad core in here. So the general specs now are 2.66 Xeon quad core, 16 gigs of quad channel DDR2, 667 megahertz memory, 512 meg video card, 2.16 gig SATA drives, and yeah, that's it, and a 750 watt power supply. So I'll go ahead and start it up for you. I just gotta put the cover on, because this thing gets really annoyed at you if you don't put the case cover on when you start up. The fans throttle up to like 100%. It's really, really annoying. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. Let's see. Okay, so go ahead and start it up now. No, let's just do a test. Okay. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. These other computers are still setting up, but several hours later than the first part of the video. I just thought that the hard drive in this guy was bad, and it was just making tons of weird errors, so I put a 300 gig IDE. It's pretty much the same thing, 7200 RPM, and it seems to be doing okay now. I'm installing updates. Although this is actually 1 gig memory chip. Windows, if you go to like click on computer and go to properties, it says it has 2 gigs of memory, but Task Manager says it only has 1, so I'm going to go by the fact that it only has 1. I have another 512 meg chip I'm going to put in it, so it's going to have 1.5 gigs. And it seems to be doing okay now. I had to download updates. It took a solid like hour or two to download the freaking updates. Really annoying. That's still booting up. And this guy, yeah, this one's working pretty well. I just, installing updates and stuff like that. So, and it's still running. I put a Wi-Fi card in it to raise the value of it. And yeah, it's just doing its thing right now. So, as soon as it boots up, I can show you. Yeah, before I said I was running like a Minecraft server and a Gmod server. I'm also considering running a Rust server. For those of you who are interested in Rust, that might be an interesting thing for you guys to check out at some point. Obviously, the game. Well, I'm running the. Hold on a sec. I'm running the experimental form of the game, which is the current branch of development. So versus the old branch they kind of abandoned, which is more functional but not very good still. So I probably won't actually have an up and running Rust server for, I don't know, till whenever the game's actually pretty playable, and whenever I actually have an internet connection that doesn't suck, like when I'm at college, hopefully. So yeah, and it does pretty well. I'm still in trying. Must be for the mouse. This is a different mouse. Whatever. Went away. Okay, whatever. Wait. Oh yeah, I'll take the mouse. Okay. What? Shh. Crap. Didn't know there was a TeamViewer trial. That sucks. Wow, apparently I can't use TeamViewer anymore. Wow, okay, I'm gonna look into that a little bit later, but let's see, if I go to, okay, performance. Yeah, so I'm running around 0% CPU usage right now, which is pretty good. Using 1.24 gigs of memory, which is so little that you can't even see it on the little chart thing. Okay, so I got a Gmod server, a Rust server, and a Minecraft. Well, none of these servers are actually really up yet because I'm just running them for testing to see if the computer can handle it, which of course it can. But my router in here is messed up. I'm using it as a wireless access point, and the connections don't really feel like hitting the internet for whatever reason. So I'm pretty much just going to hold off till I go to college. Bring this thing with me. I might run out of my dorm for a little while until I put it into my business space. I don't know, and hopefully I'll be able to port forward and stuff then. And I should have a few servers up and going, because my connection won't suck. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. I don't really have anything more to talk about. My next video might actually be when I'm in college. Who knows? So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.